Today guys, we've got 10 features and settings in your brand new A7V that you probably didn't know about, and I'd recommend you turn right on for some great results. We're kicking things off with one of the most buried features of the A7V. Coming in at number 10 is exposure standard adjustment. Most people will never find this, and honestly, Sony doesn't explain it very well. It isn't just exposure compensation. This actually shifts the camera's internal metering baseline. It's like telling the camera, hey, your idea of correct exposure is a little off. Let me fix that for you. If you're shooting and you find that your camera is consistently overexposing skin by say 1/3 of a stop or underexposing darker scenes, you can permanently correct it here. And the best part, it works across every mode. It's a one and done, set it and forget it. Depending on what you find yourself shooting, this is going to be a great fix. Once you dial this in, the camera becomes more predictable, more consistent, and honestly just more pleasant to shoot with. Do a bit of shooting first and see where you're comfortable and where your exposure is kind of resting at.
And here in the menu is exactly where you make those changes. Either adjust your exposure up or down depending on what you're dealing with. Easy.
Number 9 on the list is a fantastic feature. It's focus peaking. Focus peaking is one of those features that everyone knows about, but almost nobody understands properly on the A7V here. What it does is it highlights in-focus edges during manual focus, but only when the camera detects manual input. So if you're in autofocus continuous or you're using a lens that doesn't send manual focus signals, you won't see anything. But when it does kick in, it's incredibly powerful. It's a lifesaver for macro, for manual lenses, for shallow depth of field portraits, and for any situation where autofocus just isn't trustworthy. Set your peaking level to high, set your color to whatever you want, I like red, and suddenly manual focus becomes way more intuitive. Use focus peaking to be way more confident in your focus.
Setup's easy, just follow these menu directions and pick your level, your color, and if it's on or off. Simple as that.
Number 8 on the list is custom zebra levels. Now zebras are like focus peaking but for exposure. Zebras are a lot of the time misunderstood on Sony cameras, especially because people think they're video only. They're not. They work beautifully in photo mode, and they're one of the most reliable ways to expose skin tones, for example. I find a good baseline is around 70%, then expose until the zebras just start to appear. That's it, perfect exposure every single time. This completely removes the guesswork from shooting in harsh sunlight, backlit scenes, or high contrast environments. Once you start using zebras for photography, you'll wonder how you ever shot without them. The A7V does have great dynamic range, but still it's always better to underexpose a little bit than overexpose.
Coming in at number 7 is your A7V RAW formats and how to pick the best one for you. There are 3 different options and all of them are the full resolution 33 megapixel files. We've got lossless RAW, compressed RAW HQ, and compressed RAW. Now here's the part that most people get wrong. Lossless RAW isn't always the best choice. Lossless RAW gives you the cleanest files, sure, but it also creates the largest files. And that means your buffer fills faster, your burst rate slows down sooner, your cards will fill up way quicker, and your workflow gets heavier. If you shoot action, events, wildlife, or anything high volume, lossless can actually hurt your performance more than it helps your image quality. That's where compressed HQ comes in. This is still full resolution, still extremely clean, but the files are smaller and the buffer lasts longer. For most shooters, HQ is going to be that sweet spot. And if you know you're shooting long bursts or thousands of images a day, compressed RAW gives you the smallest files and the longest buffer performance. So again, to summarize, lossless RAW is maximum quality but heavy, we'll call it. Compressed HQ is the best balance, and compressed RAW is best for speed and volume. One of the biggest considerations for you should be the light you're shooting in. If you're shooting in great light and lower ISOs, honestly the image quality is going to be negligible, so HQ or compressed is probably going to be just fine. If your light's not so great, lossless RAW might be the best so you can get the most out of your image in post.
Number 6 on the list is touch tracking priority. Touch tracking is one of the fastest, most intuitive ways to lock onto your subject. Just tap the screen. That's it. If you're somebody who loves to shoot with the LCD on the back, this camera sticks to that subject like glue. Even if someone walks in front or the scene gets chaotic, it's fantastic. It's perfect for portraits, events, wildlife, kids, street photography, you name it. Anything where the subject moves unpredictably. And honestly, at this point, it's faster than manually moving autofocus points, especially on the fly. It has come a long way in recent years. If you ever had the camera jump around to the background at the worst possible moment, touch tracking fixes that pretty much instantly. Number 5 on the list is real-time recognition autofocus. The A7V's autofocus system is incredibly powerful, as you probably know, but only if you tell it what you're shooting. This is going to be a big difference. Human, animal, bird, insect, car, train, airplane, each one activates a different AI model inside the camera. Pick the right one and the camera becomes a tracking monster. Pick the wrong one and it can get confused. Switching from human to animal instantly improves AF on dogs, cats, and wildlife. Switching to birds makes a massive difference for small, fast subjects. And car mode is going to be great for motorsports. This one setting can completely change how the camera behaves. If there's subjects that you know you're not going to shoot, go in and eliminate them from the options. And a pro tip is to actually assign a custom button right on your camera that's going to allow you to cycle through these different options. If you did want to see how I set up my custom buttons and function menu, I'll link a video to that right over here somewhere.
And here's the simple setup. Head into your menu and down to AF/MF. And then you're going to look for the subject recognition tab. Go on over, make sure that's turned on there. And if you did want to select some of your targets, go down to recognition target select set. And there is where you can turn on or off the subjects that you want to have automatically recognized. And it's that simple. Again, you can also set a custom button if you want to have subject recognition come on automatically, or turn it off if you want to just focus on your own autofocus. But really, it's as simple as that.
Moving on to number 4 on the list, and that's AF on only. This is going to decouple focus from your shutter. It's a little bit weird to wrap your head around, but this is how the pros shoot action. Once you try it, you'll understand, but I don't recommend this for everyday shooting. It's something that you can master over time, and honestly, it's going to make a big difference when that perfect shot actually shows up. Turn off AF with shutter. Now the shutter button only takes photos, and AF on handles the focusing. We've got 2 buttons now. This gives you full control over when your autofocus activates. It prevents accidental refocusing. It makes the camera feel more responsive, and it dramatically improves your hit rate for moving subjects. It is a little bit tricky to kind of wrap your mind around. If you've ever had the camera refocus at the wrong moment, this is going to kind of fix that permanently. It takes a little bit to get used to, and I don't shoot like this most of the time, I have to admit. It is, however, really worth knowing how to do. Number 3 on the list is AF tracking expand spot. If you want the most reliable autofocus mode on the A7V, this is it. Expand spot gives you the precision of a small focus point, but if your subject moves, the camera expands the box and keeps tracking. It's the perfect balance between accuracy and stickiness. Wide autofocus can be chaotic. Zone autofocus can be a bit unpredictable. Expand spot gives you control without sacrificing tracking performance. Kids, pets, wildlife, sports, this mode just works. If you haven't used it before, try it out for yourself and let me know what you think down in the comments.
Accessing this setting's easy. It's probably in your function menu, but you can find it in your main menu as well. You want to look for your focus area where you should be pretty much accustomed to all the different options. Find the tracking section, and then one of those options is going to be the expand spot. There you have it.
Number 2 on the list is incredibly powerful. One of my favorite features that was on the A7 IV later in life and now comes to the A7V. It's focus bracketing or automatic focus stacking. This is the A7V's most underrated photography feature. It's shockingly good. What it does is the camera automatically shoots a sequence of images at different focus distances. You choose the number of shots, the step width, and that's pretty much it. It's incredible for macro, for product photography, for landscapes, and anything where you want perfect front to back sharpness. Instead of manually nudging focus and hoping for the best, the A7V now does the entire stack for you. One press, done. Drop those images into Photoshop or Luminar Neo or whatever you use, and you get a razor sharp final image. This feature alone can make your work look dramatically more professional.
Once again, here's the setup. In your function menu, most likely is going to be your drive mode. You can find it in the menu as well. In your drive mode, you're going to want to scroll down until you find bracket focus. And from there, it's very simple. All you need to do is pick your step width, pick the number of images you want to shoot, hit your shutter button, and you're off. You're definitely going to want to have a tripod when using this feature. Mastering this can be a bit tricky, so if you're into focus stacking, I do have a full in-depth review here for you.
And finally, number 1 on the list is full-time DMF or direct manual focus. The number 1 hidden feature on the A7V. This lets you automatically override autofocus without switching modes. Autofocus gets you close, DMF gets you perfect. It's a lifesaver for portraits, macro, shallow depth of field work, and any situation where autofocus hesitates or grabs the wrong thing. It makes the camera feel smarter, more responsive, and more natural to use. Once you turn this on, it becomes one of those features you just never want to shoot without. A real-world example of this is shooting portraits with eye autofocus. Sometimes you're using an incredibly fast lens like a 1.4 or an f1.2, and it hits the eyebrow. That tiny depth of field is going to be the difference between a keeper and something you get rid of. So if you find your autofocus getting close but not quite there, use DMF to quickly adjust that little tiny bit of focus and you nailed it. You're going to have focus peaking turned on anyway, so you're going to see exactly what's in focus. By the way, turning this on in camera is going to allow you to use this with any lens, not just lenses with a DMF switch or feature built in.
Being a wildlife photographer, I am constantly using this feature when it comes to animals behind branches or trees or where the autofocus is just not quite doing what I want it to do. In those cases, it's absolutely crucial and it has saved me from missing a lot of shots. The setup for this one's just as easy as the others. Hit into your menu, go down to the AF/MF option, number 1 AF/MF, and then you're going to see full-time DMF. Your only 2 options currently are on and off. Hit that to on and you are in business.
How awesome is that? And that's the countdown, guys. 10 hidden Sony A7V photography features that actually matter. It's like a cheat sheet, right? Let me know if this helped you out, and if it did, hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Join the community. Check out all my A7V videos, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.